Welcome to Proofless, the true crime podcast that probes the depths of America's most baffling, unsolved mysteries. Cases where the evidence is scarce, the clues are confounding, and the truth remains just out of reach. I'm your host, Anna Berger, and this is the 6th episode of Proofless, where we unravel stories that haunt families, puzzle investigators, and captivate true crime enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a case that defies logic and has left a city and an online community searching for answers for nearly 2 decades. The disappearance of Brian Shaffer, a 27-year-old medical student who vanished from a bustling Ohio bar in 2006 without a trace. This is a story of a promising young man, a night out that took a surreal turn, and a mystery that challenges everything we think we know about how someone can simply disappear. So, settle in for a deep dive into a case that's as perplexing as it is heartbreaking, a journey through a night that changed lives forever. Let's set the scene. It's March 31st, 2006, in Columbus, Ohio, a vibrant college town pulsating with the energy of the Ohio State University. The city is alive with the anticipation of spring break as students gear up for a week of freedom after a grueling semester. Brian Shaffer is a second-year medical student at Ohio State University, a 27-year-old with a bright future ahead. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches with brown hair, hazel eyes, and a distinctive tattoo of a stick figure from the Pearl Jam album Vitalogy on his upper arm, Brian is charismatic, intelligent, and well-liked. He's the son of Randy and Renee Shaffer from Pickerington, Ohio, a suburb about 15 miles east of Columbus, and he shares a close bond with his younger brother, Derek. Brian is engaged to Alexis Wagoner, a fellow medical student, and the couple is planning a life together after graduation, with dreams of a wedding and careers in medicine. To those who know him, Brian is the epitome of ambition and warmth. A guy who balances the rigors of med school with a love for music, socializing, and the occasional night out. But beneath his confident exterior, Brian's life has its complexities. Just weeks before, on March 6th, 2006, his mother, Renee, passed away from cancer, a loss that hit him hard. Friends say he was grieving deeply, but trying to stay strong, throwing himself into his studies and leaning on Alexis for support. He's also navigating the pressures of medical school, a demanding program that leaves little room for error. Despite these challenges, Brian seems to be coping. He's planning a trip to Cincinnati to visit Alexis during spring break, and he's looking forward to a break from the grind. On March 31st, a Friday, Brian starts the evening with a steak dinner with his father, Randy, at a local restaurant. They talk about school, Renee's passing, and Brian's plans to see Alexis the next day. It's a heartfelt conversation, and Randy later recalls Brian seeming optimistic, if a bit subdued. After dinner, Brian heads out to meet friends, ready to kick off spring break with a night of fun. Brian links up with his friend William Clint Florence, a fellow OSU student, at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular bar on the university's campus known for its oversized fishbowl drinks, loud music, and laid-back vibe. Located on the second floor of a strip mall at 1546 North High Street, the Ugly Tuna is a student hotspot, especially on a Friday night. Later, Clint's friend Meredith Reed joins them, and the trio plans a bar crawl along High Street, Columbus's main artery for nightlife. They hit several bars, including the Short North and a place called the Gateway, before returning to the Ugly Tuna around 10 p.m. Security cameras capture Brian entering the bar via the escalator, wearing a green t-shirt, jeans, and a shamrock necklace, a nod to recent St. Patrick's Day festivities. He's smiling, chatting with Clint and Meredith, and blending into the sea of students celebrating the start of break. The Ugly Tuna is packed, with music blaring and drinks flowing. Brian is in good spirits, sipping on a beer and soaking up the atmosphere. Around midnight, he calls Alexis, who's in Cincinnati, to check in. The call is brief but affectionate. He tells her he's having a good time and will see her tomorrow. Witnesses later confirm Brian was drinking but didn't appear heavily intoxicated, just enjoying the night. He's seen talking to 2 women, Amber Ruich and Alexandria, at the bar, but they describe the interaction as casual, just friendly banter. Around 1:30 a.m., Brian wanders off to talk to the band playing that night, a local group performing covers. Clint and Meredith, caught up in the crowd, lose sight of him. They assume he's mingling or stepped outside for air. As the bar nears closing time at 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith look for Brian but can't find him. Thinking he might have gone home or left with someone else, they head out. Meredith tries calling Brian's phone, but it goes straight to voicemail. The next morning, April 1st, Alexis tries to reach Brian to confirm their plans in Cincinnati, but his phone is off. A red flag, as Brian is usually quick to respond. She calls Randy, who hasn't heard from his son either. By Saturday afternoon, concern turns to alarm. Randy and Derek drive to Brian's apartment on King Avenue, a 5-minute walk from the Ugly Tuna. The door is locked, and inside, everything seems normal. Brian's wallet, keys, glasses, and clothes are there, but he's not. His car, a Pontiac Grand Am, is parked outside, untouched. Randy checks Brian's phone records and bank accounts. No activity since the night before. He contacts the Columbus Police Department, and a missing persons report is filed. The police, led by Detective Andre Edwards, begin investigating, but the case quickly takes a bizarre turn. The Ugly Tuna Saloona becomes the focal point. The bar has a single public entrance via an escalator, monitored by security cameras, and a front door near a parking lot, also covered by surveillance. Detectives obtain footage from the bar and nearby businesses, hoping to trace Brian's movements. The cameras show him entering the Ugly Tuna at 10 p.m. and again at 1:15 a.m. after briefly stepping outside to talk to Amber in Alexandria. Crucially, there's no footage of him leaving. The bar has a service exit used by staff for deliveries, but it's locked from the outside and requires a key. Police interview bartenders, bouncers, and the band, but no one recalls seeing Brian leave. The footage shows Clint and Meredith exiting around 2 a.m., but Brian is absent. It's as if he vanished inside the bar, a puzzle that defies explanation. The Columbus police treat the case as a missing persons investigation, but the lack of an exit trail raises suspicions of foul play. Brian's phone last pinged a cell tower near the Ugly Tuna at 1:55 a.m., then went silent. His bank accounts and credit cards show no activity, ruling out a spur-of-the-moment trip. Detectives search Brian's apartment, finding no signs of a struggle or forced entry. They interview Clint and Meredith, who are cooperative but offer little insight. Brian seemed fine, they say, just enjoying the night. The two women he spoke to are questioned and cleared. They left the bar before closing and saw nothing unusual. The band members confirm Brian chatted with them about music, but have no further details. The police expand their search to High Street, checking alleys, dumpsters, and the nearby Olentangy River, but find no trace of Brian. No clothing, no phone, no clues. The FBI joins the investigation, given the possibility of a crime crossing state lines. Agents analyze the Ugly Tuna's security footage frame by frame, looking for any sign of Brian. They explore alternative exits, including a construction area at the back of the strip mall, accessible via the service store. The area was under renovation in 2006, with scaffolding, debris, and open access to adjacent businesses. Police search the site with cadaver dogs, but it yields nothing. They also consider whether Brian could have slipped out in a crowd, unnoticed by cameras, but the bar's layout makes this difficult. Patrons had to pass the escalator or the heavily monitored front door to leave. The absence of Brian in any exit footage becomes the case's defining mystery, earning it the nickname, "The Man Who Never Left." Theories about Brian's fate emerge quickly, each as plausible as it is frustrating. The most straightforward is that he left the bar voluntarily, perhaps intoxicated, and met with an accident or foul play. High Street, while busy, has pockets of crime, and a disoriented Brian could have been targeted for robbery or worse. Witnesses say he was drinking but not stumbling drunk, and his friends insist he was in control. Another theory suggests he wandered into the construction area and suffered an accident, perhaps falling into a hidden space or being trapped in debris. The site was chaotic, with exposed beams and equipment, but multiple searches, including with ground-penetrating radar in 2007, find no evidence. Some speculate Brian got into an altercation inside the bar, perhaps with a stranger or someone jealous of his interaction with the women. But no witnesses report a fight, and the bar was too crowded for a violent incident to go unnoticed. The never left the bar theory captivates online sleuths. Reddit users and true crime forums like Web Sleuths propose that Brian could be hidden somewhere in the Ugly Tuna or the strip mall, perhaps in a crawl space, a sealed-off construction area, or even a forgotten basement. In 2008, the Columbus police bring in structural engineers to re-examine the building, but no hidden spaces are found. Another theory, more controversial, is that Brian staged his disappearance. His mother's death, the pressures of medical school, and a reported interest in traveling or pursuing music — he loved Pearl Jam and had talked about joining a band — suggest he might have been overwhelmed. Some point to a cryptic MySpace post he made weeks earlier, quoting lyrics about starting over as a clue. But his family and Alexis vehemently reject this. Brian was devoted to his fiancée and career, and leaving his wallet, keys, and life behind makes little sense. The lack of financial activity further undermines the runaway theory. The Shaffer family becomes a relentless force in the search. Randy, devastated by the loss of his wife and now his son, organizes search parties and distributes flyers across Columbus. He creates a website, findbrianshaffer.com, to collect tips and keep Brian's face in the public eye. Derek drops out of college to focus on the search, while Alexis, heartbroken but determined, maintains contact with investigators. The family appears on America's Most Wanted, The Oprah Winfrey Show, and Dr. Phil, pleading for information. They offer a $100,000 reward, funded by donations and their savings, for any lead that brings answers. The emotional toll is crushing. Randy's health deteriorates, and in September 2008, he dies in a tragic accident when a tree branch falls on him during a storm. Derek and Alexis take up the mantle, vowing to continue the fight. Leads trickle in, but lead nowhere. In September 2006, 6 months after Brian's disappearance, his phone pings a cell tower in Hilliard, 14 miles from Columbus. The ping is investigated but deemed a likely glitch as the phone remains inactive. In 2010, a psychic claims Brian is alive in Florida, working as a bartender, but a search turns up nothing. In 2014, a homeless man in Columbus is mistaken for Brian due to a resemblance, but DNA testing rules it out. In 2016, the Columbus police release new footage from a nearby bar, hoping to jog memories, but it shows nothing significant. The case file grows to thousands of pages, with over 1,500 tips logged by 2010, but most are dead ends, sightings that don't pan out, theories without evidence. The case becomes a true crime phenomenon, amplified by the internet. The 2011 disappeared episode on Brian draws millions of viewers, and podcasts like The Vanished, True Crime Garage, and Crime Junkie dedicate multiple episodes to it. Reddit's r/Brian Shaffer subreddit buzzes with theories, from a bar fight gone wrong to a human trafficking ring targeting college students. Some sleuths point to similarities with other Columbus disappearances, like that of Joey LaBute, a 26-year-old who vanished from a bar in 2016 and was later found dead in a river. No connection is proven, but the parallels fuel speculation. Others focus on Clint and Meredith, suggesting they know more than they've said, though both passed polygraphs and have alibis. The Ugly Tuna's staff is scrutinized, with some theorizing a bartender or bouncer could be involved, but no evidence emerges. The Columbus police face criticism for their handling of the case. The Shaffers argue that detectives didn't act quickly enough, failing to secure the bar immediately or issue a statewide alert. The delay in searching the construction area, days after Brian vanished, may have missed critical evidence. In 2012, the family sues the Columbus police for access to the full case file, winning partial releases. The documents reveal extensive interviews with bar patrons, staff, and even a psychic who claimed Brian was trapped in a wall, but nothing breaks the case open. In 2019, the Columbus Police Cold Case Unit takes over, re-examining evidence with modern forensics. DNA from Brian's apartment and the ugly tuna yields no matches, and enhanced video analysis fails to spot Brian leaving. In 2023, a tip about a possible burial site in a Columbus landfill prompts a search, but it's another dead end. The case's online presence grows, with YouTube channels and TikTok creators analyzing the ugly tuna footage. Some claim to see a figure resembling Brian in the background of one frame, but experts dismiss it as pareidolia, a trick of the mind seeing patterns where none exist. Others speculate about a cover-up, noting that the strip mall's owner, a prominent local businessman, was quick to deny access to certain areas. Conspiracy theories flourish, from Brian being drugged and smuggled out to a secret life in Canada, but no evidence supports these claims. The family, while grateful for public interest, warns against misinformation, with Derek telling NBC News in 2024, "We need facts, not guesses." Advances in technology offer hope. In 2022, the FBI uploads Brian's DNA to CODIS, hoping to match it to unidentified remains. Genetic genealogy, used to solve cases like the Golden State Killer, is explored, with Brian's relatives submitting DNA to databases like GED Match. In 2025, a Columbus Dispatch report notes that the cold case unit is testing new video enhancement tools on the ugly tuna footage, but results are pending. The reward remains at $100,000, and the family pushes for the FBI to take primary jurisdiction, believing federal resources could break the stalemate. The impact on Brian's loved ones is profound. Derek, now in his 40s, runs findbrianshaffer.com and organizes annual vigils in Columbus. Alexis, a practicing physician, keeps Brian's memory alive through advocacy, speaking at missing persons events. The case has changed OSU's campus culture. Students are warier on High Street, and bars have tightened security. The ugly tuna closed in 2010, replaced by a new venue, but its name remains synonymous with the mystery. The Shaffer's grief is compounded by the lack of closure, with Derek telling People magazine in 2024, "It's like losing him every day." What happened to Brian Shaffer? Did he slip out of the ugly tuna unnoticed, only to meet with tragedy? Was he trapped in the construction chaos, hidden in a place no one thought to look? Or did he choose to walk away, overwhelmed by grief and pressure? The case, with its maddening lack of evidence, is the essence of Proofless, a mystery that lingers like a shadow, refusing to reveal its secrets. That's all for the 6th episode of Proofless. Brian Shaffer's disappearance is a puzzle that challenges our understanding of how someone can vanish in plain sight. If you have information, contact the Columbus Police Cold Case Unit or visit findbrianshaffer.com. Share your thoughts on our website or social media, and join us next time for another journey into the unknown. Until then, keep searching for answers.